Hi, Lucky. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well. Am I audible enough? Is it okay?
Yes, quite
Oh my
quite helpful.
headset. Okay,
Okay, so I think we should be starting about now. The live stream has begun already.
okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So using this opportunity to welcome each and every one of us to today's session of the Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations training. Previous years, it's been around CRM most of the time, sales, marketing, field service, power platform. But of course, we need to ensure that we move across the various stacks of the Dynamics 365 suite of solutions that Microsoft has installed for us. So, joining me today is Olaleke Olapa, and he's a consultant, a senior Dynamics 365 consultant, and is going to be walking us through the modules that we have in the sales and marketing aspect of the Dynamics 365 finance and operations um, application. And I think this should be the third class that we are having, and in this third class, basically, I'm sure from the beginning we already have set up some of the license, the trials, and all, but we can still cover that towards the end of today's session. So I'll be handing over to you, Leke.
Yes, Funsha, thank you very much. Welcome everyone to this week's training, which we are going to be covering through on sales and marketing module of the FNO business application, basically. So I'll just present my slide just for us to have a guide and overview of what we are going to expect in today's training session. So you can just let me know when you can see my screen. So I'm sharing my screen now. Is it visible enough? Right. So today we are going to have the sales and marketing, which is under the supply chain management training series. And part of our training or learning agenda today would be the sales and marketing overview, creating sales order, sales agreement overview, editing and creating or creating and editing sales quotation, setting up intercompany trade and also creating a new trade agreement. So I hope we have time to, walk through all these various features that we have available in Dynamics FNO. So, uh, for sales and marketing overview, you are we can understand that marketing activities are always implemented to capture leads or prospects into the system and do business with them. Basically to obtain, store, and use various types of data in a sales flow or workflow. This data includes the original sales initiative, future follow-up actions, and other sales processes as well. Sorry, 1 minute. Yeah. So, as you delve into marketing campaign and activities to find and build relationship with potential customers, so that initial interactions can develop into sales relationships. I mean, what is the use of having to market or throughout the campaign without getting results of potential prospects or or leads? They're not customers yet. Your leads are converted to customers when they've decided to do business with you. So this is one of the processes we're going to be going through in this training that we are embarking on today. So relationship in marketing, in sales and marketing, the initial interactions that you have with potential customers can occur in various situations. For example, you might find a prospective customer where you're attending a trade show, or you might find or might have a possible lead, with a customer after your organization runs a mass mailing campaign, right? It is very important that you understand the flow of a party's entity before the party becomes a customer. So the following graphic, right, on this side shows the flow of entity relationships as a potential customer becomes an actual customer. So what is this trying to make us understand? We can actually capture leads or prospects via various channels. One very popular channel that we can capture leads or prospect is when we have email campaigns. We have an email blast sent to various leads that we've gathered over time. So these leads can be captured in various aspects or using various strategies or techniques. For example, I might go for a function, right, and issue out my card, my business card. That is a prospect, or I get the business card of a particular prospect, and when I get back to the office, I impute this data into the system. That is a prospect. We also have situations whereby we can send out campaigns. It can be maybe Microsoft Forms, it can be Google Forms, most especially because there are different fields on those campaigns that we need to capture. For example, basic fields that are necessary, like their name, their phone number, email address is very critical, for us to follow up on this prospect. So we can see that a prospect can go from a prospect to a lead, then an opportunity, than a customer. You can also go in another direction, which says a prospect, an opportunity, and a customer. So, what is an opportunity? An opportunity is when the particular prospect, right, is ready to do business with us as the business owners. So we say the opportunity, it could be either won or lost, right? But it's always good to have opportunities won, especially for and this is the reason why we need to build good relationships with our prospect. So under the sales, we have this diagram here, and we have different strategies for selling. We have where we establish the sales forecast first, and we have to manage the sales force as well, where you can assign territories, define sales processes, establish targets, monitor or sales progress, and review or adjust sales targets. Generate sales, schedule activities for those sales. That's to find the customers and qualify them. You make a sale, you can also upsell as well, and process sales orders. So of course we know that a sales order is what is a document you issue to a prospect, right? While a purchase order is when you want to get from a particular vendor. So these are just few slides before we delve into getting our hands dirty. So for sales quotation, you create sales quotation to present customers an offer, right, of the goods or services that you'll be providing. So a customer might request a quotation, or you might create a quotation in response to a request from a potential customer. So this happens where there's been a back and forth discussion or interaction with a particular prospect, right, before it turns to a lead and then turns to an opportunity or a proper customer or an existing customer. So when the customer approves the sales quotation, you can then convert that to a sales order. So another strategy to improve business ROI, right, is upselling or cross-selling, and these are techniques for selling products when an order is entered for a customer. In upselling, excuse me, another product is suggested, right, instead of the current product. So we can say, okay, I'm proposing this is the product I'm selling to, my customer, but then I want to attach maybe something else to upsell to this customer. So we'll take an example. I'm selling a laptop to a customer. I can then now upsell and say, okay, I have a laptop stand, right, that will be useful with this product you are purchasing from us. That automatically captures the interest of this prospect and might be interested in doing business with us while we upsell. So in cross-selling, the product is suggested in addition to the current product, which I just explained right now. When you set up a product list, you can create specific rules to indicate when a product should be suggested as a cross-sell or upsell. Then we can delve into sales order. When you create a new sales order, you must select the type of sales order you want to create. There are, you have five options. Note, after you create a sales order or any type or or any other type, right? Excuse me, can be changed except item requirement type if the sales order has a status of delivered. So what do we call sales agreement? So sales agreement is a contract that commits the customer, right, to buy a product in a specific quantity or for a specific amount over time. So in exchange for a special price or discount, right? The prices and discounts of the sales management is overruled any prices or discounts that are stated in the sales agreement existing. So 1 minute, please. That exists. So a sales agreement is valid for a defined period. The requested ship date that is specified for a sales on the sales order page should be in a valid period by default. Right. A sales agreement is on hold. You can order from a sales agreement only when it's set to efficient. And of course, what is having a sales closed without having invoices? So after you have an invoices, if after you've issued an invoice, we know that this has already become a customer. So we have various types of invoices. We have the customer invoice, we have the free text invoice, and we have the pro forma invoice. So a customer invoice is a pivotal document in the sales process generated by organizations in to bill customers for purchases made. So typically during from period sales order, it encompasses crucial informations such as header details, the line item for items or services bought. Most mistakes, or I don't want to say mistake, it's not best practice actually. When businesses are creating sales orders, I found out that in the items sections, right, some companies or businesses that don't offer physical products to sell to customers that offer services, they create them under items, which is not best practice. Those should be created as service items or as free text invoice, right? The only situations where service items can be created in the item section should be maybe, for example, an inverter company right now. An inverter company issues you a sales order and says, okay, we have this inverter for you that we want to sell, and part of this sales order we're going to attach a service order to it, which is going to be maybe the installation of this inverter by an engineer or a technician or on-site technician that would assist you with installation of this. So let me just dive into the environment for now so we can have an overview of everything we've been saying over time, and I'm sure it's going to be a great session. So I would hover onto my environment. I'm just start a new session now. And so we have our F&O environment here, right? There is always a trial license available. I'm sure I will share, or the link is going to be shared in the description box below, and we can always go to create, trial environment just to carry out tests and check out the features available in this awesome business solution. So on our left hand side here, we have various entities here and modules, and which we are going to be working with is the sales and marketing module, where I'm going to be explaining to you the overview or summary of what this module contains. So when I go to the sales and marketing module, I can see under I have customers, relationships, I have marketing, I have sales quotation, sales orders, sales agreements, sales returns, and product and discounts and the likes. Right. So I'll just be going through the major key features which will enable the business to propose a sales order to a particular customer. Also guide us on how to, create customers in the environment. And I can show you, for example, when we hover to the customer entity, we can see we have the all customer feature here. So in the all customer feature, we can see various customers that are created in this environment. So this is a customer I just created on my own using my own name. And the beautiful thing about this FNO is even on the customer page, you can perform several actions. You don't have to navigate out of the customer entity or customer module to go and start creating sales order or assigning, creating projects relating to this particular customer, or performing other features or actions that are necessary. So we can see on this customer entity or customer module, we can see that we have the ability to create a sales order from here, also create a sales agreement from here. We have the ability to create an opportunity, a lead. We can also issue an invoice directly from here, of course, when a sales order is created and approved. We can also collect here. So there are various features here that we can do instead of navigating or going out of the sales or out of the customer module. So we also have products and projects here. Maybe there's a project that is associated to a particular customer, or we want to create a new project with a particular customer, in our environment. We also have the service here. We also have service agreement, service order, a service object. We also have market here. We can create marketing campaigns targeted to maybe customers in a particular group. We can also have that approach done here as well. We also have the custom commerce side where we can set up loyalty cards. So this actually is a very useful feature, right? For maybe regular customers that actually patronize the business. We can provide loyalty cards to these customers. So whenever they want to do business with us, they can have discounted offers because they are part of the loyalty customer card feature. And we also have a bunch of other features that are also available on this customer module side. For example, the general, where we can configure the intercompany transaction. So there are situations whereby a business can have different subsidiaries, and they will need to do like a business between different subsidiaries, like sell between different subsidiaries. So instead of creating a sales order in one subsidiary and creating a purchase order in another subsidiary, the intercompany transaction is a very good feature that will help us. Another nice feature here is the credit limit adjustment. So maybe we have a customer where we didn't have a good experience with doing business with. We can also set credit limits to this customer. So when a sales order is created, if it has exceeded the credit limit that we've set for this particular customer, right? So the system will give us a notification that, okay, for this sales order we've created for this customer, there is a particular credit limit, so we should review that credit limit. So on this side, we can create various features, various processes. So you can also just create a new customer here by just clicking on the new button, right? Filling out the necessary details. So let me just give you customer account. I can just name it an alphanumeric feature. So the customer account, if we click on the drop down, we can see that let me just click on the drop down here. We can see that there are various customer accounts. Ideally, we should be able to associate a customer with a customer account. So what I'm trying to explain is we can have multiple customers associated to a particular customer account, but because of the particular setup we have on this demo environment, we would only be able to create a single customer account for a different customer. So let me just see, this can be tech 001, just creating a customer. This can be a person. So your customer can be an organization or a person. In my situation, I'm going to say it's a person. I can say his name is Ola. Middle name. So we can see when I try to create this first customer, this customer, and I imputed just the first three letters of um, the customer I'm just creating. It's trying to bring me up to speed and say, okay, are you trying to say Ola, which is an existing customer in the system? But no, I'm still going to proceed to creating with other informations that I got when we went for the trade show. So Peter is no, Ola Tunde. Let me just give it this guy Tunde, and the last name can be Shegun or something. So every customer has to be associated to a customer group. So this actually helps in reporting. So we can say we want to pull out reports for customers in different customer groups. So in my customer group, right, I have wholesale customers, I have intercompany retail customers, I have major customers, and I have retail customers, I have internet customers, and other customers. So this just shows us that we can segment customers into different groups, and it's highly necessary we have to associate a particular customer to a particular customer group. So I'm just going to say retail customer, right? So we have let me just expand this because I'll be explaining most of these fields as we move. So we have our delivery terms. What type of delivery terms have we worked with this customer with before, or since it's a new customer, what delivery term do we think is necessary? So we can always create or customize your delivery term. To do this, we can just we can just right click right on the drop down arrow and click on view details, but I wouldn't do that because it's going to disrupt my installation, my configuration process or data process which I'm doing. So I'll just select one delivery time, which is cost and freight. Okay, because I changed the customer to person, that's why the customer account was removed. So let me just do this right here. We can also say what mode of delivery do we want to profile to this customer. So I would say this customer will want to do by truck or by ocean. I think by air is cool. Then we have the sales tax group. So mind you, all these informations that I'm filling up in this customer form is actually data that has been pre-configured or set up while setting up the environment. So I just pick a tax group. So some fields are not necessary, but the major fields that are necessary, we just have to fill them. So we can say the city, just create Kobe, and the country, America. Or we can choose any country of our choice. And email address, let's see, let's just put something valid there. So we can save this now. Give it some time to save, and we can see, we'll then see the details of this customer that we just created in the system. So since I have this customer now, I can say, okay, I want to, you know, provide a sales order to this particular customer. So before I proceed to creating a sales order, I just want to highlight some fields in these various sections of the customer form. For example, we have the address here. We just left the general section tab of this customer form. So we have the address section here. We also have contact informations, which is very key and necessary because most of the time when we have a workflow or an automation for a sales order to be sent out to this particular customer, right, it's going to pick the email address in the contact information section. of this particular customer. We also have the sales demographic section. This is not a field that I've interacted with before, but of course, um, demographic actually shows or segments the various areas, how we can categorize or report this particular customer. We also have a very useful feature here which says credit and collection. Here we can set a credit limit for this particular customer. Let's say this customer has not been a very good customer with us in the past. We can set a credit limit for this customer, and then whenever we profile our sales order to a customer, if it exceeds the credit limit, we are going to get a prompt to say, okay, no, this customer is on a credit limit and we have to review the sales order. Yes, so we are under collection, we have invoicing and delivery on hold. So the reason why we have this value set to no is to tell us that okay, there's no limitation, there's no restriction on any process you want to handle with this particular customer. We can share, create sales invoices. We can create sales orders. We can issue invoices and perform requisition and payments. If we select the invoice option, it tells us that okay, the invoice is there's going to be an invoice limit on this particular customer. When we select all, we know that all the actions that from the sales order, from the payment to requisition, is going to be put on hold. But in this particular situation, we're going to put it on no because this is a new customer and we don't have any negative experience with this customer. So we also have the sales order default here. So where we can, issue to say, okay, for the item that we are going to be selling to this customer, the item is located in a particular warehouse and in a particular site. So we can select the warehouse here and select the site where this particular item is. Automatically, when we select all this as default, anytime we create the sales order for this particular customer, these details are going to be auto complete or filled in by default since we've selected it. So some people always get confused to understand the difference between the site and the warehouse. So we can look at it in this situation. A site might be maybe subsidiaries of a particular business, and the warehouse, a warehouse can we can have a warehouse in various subsidiaries, right? So let's say we have for example, we have like Dangote Group. We have Dangote Group of companies. We have Dangote Lagos. We have Dangote Abuja. We have Dangote Kaduna or Kano. So we can have different warehouses in those different sites. So you can have like 10 warehouses in a particular subsidiary or in a particular site in that situation. So I can just, select a particular site here. Let me just say this is the home speaker production site, right? We can also have the warehouse, which is located around this site one. So I'll just put this here. We also have the sales group. So what does this field tell us? So this field just makes us understand that a sales rep can be a sales group or can be associated to take care of this particular customer in which we want to create sales order for, right? So a sales group is just to say okay, a particular sales team who can be dedicated to this particular customer. And we also have a whole lot of other fields which we are going to be discussing in future here. We also have physical dimensions. These actually segments are reporting to give us more detailed breakdown of reporting when we decide to um, run a trial balance or check out the general ledger and spool out reports. So financial dimensions can be broken down into maybe business units, departments, item groups, projects, as we can see here. So I'll just proceed to saving this, then we can see how we can create, just 1 minute, we can create a sales order for this customer still existing on this particular page without navigating to any other any other screen. So when I go to sell here, I can go to sales order here. So Funsho, are you there? I don't know, maybe if you have any question, because I know I've been talking for you for a while now. Did you have any question, Funsho? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Okay, so
Yes, at the moment there is no question, no question in the
okay,
chat
okay,
as well.
okay, thank you very much. So we are creating a sales order now. Obviously, we have to select the particular item which we would like to, you know, prefer to this particular customer, or we would like to sell to this particular customer. Before I proceed there, I'd like to, make us understand, when we are creating items, maybe journal items, or maybe purchase requisitions, purchase orders, sales orders, we always stumble on what we call lines and headers, right? So the headers is like the summary of that particular process you are trying to deal with, right? Right, the lines is like more in-depth detail on what we are trying to sell to a particular customer. So I will just select an item number, and automatically this item number should auto-populate major fields that are available here. So I selected the Surface Pro.
Okay, let's give our speaker a moment. I think there was a glitch there. Let's just hold on for some few minutes. So in the chat, you can just signify if you've been able to, because I know we are from, I would say, different areas of backgrounds in terms of the usage of the technology. Okay, and you'd hear Leke talking about enterprises having several warehouses as it was trying to create the order which we were seeing. So if you've actually set up your finance and operations, that's the trial one from the link which was shared in the chat section. That will take about 15 to 30 minutes to have it all up and running. So you can use this time to sign up for a trial. If you have the developer account, you can use that as well. You might not be able to use, for instance, your corporate account because you might have some restrictions from your organization. So you can reach out to anyone in the community if you want to know how to set up a developer account. I think we have videos on that as well that we have on our YouTube channel that would guide you on how you can set up a free um, Microsoft 365 developer tenant where you can build in apps, you can build flows, and then you can also start trials for things like copilots and also Dynamics 365 finance and operations. So if you have questions, you can feel free to leave them in the chat window. Okay, thank you, Peter. Peter is saying that instead of using existing parameters, parameter setup, we should be looking at creating as a new one so we can understand better. Okay. Yeah, would relate this to Leke. Just hold on a moment once it's back. I also have my finance and operations up and running here. So let me go to the sales section of it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I went out for a while and I was just talking. Okay, I can comment, which makes
Yeah,
sense.
welcome back.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, so there's a question here from Ogwale Peter.
Yeah.
And I think because of the time crunch that we have, I
Mhm.
think that's why we might not be able to go from the very scratch. But I think if it's something that we can cover in the few minutes that we have left. So Peter is making mention of instead of having, for instance, those organizations which were selecting their addresses, things like that, instead of having them selected, which were already predefined data, that why not go through the route of creating those records from scratch, like creating those organizations, creating those warehouses, and which even that alone will take even like almost all the time that we
Yeah.
have. And also, I believe there is an opportunity to import those records. So if you have an Excel file, there is an opportunity for you to import those records, which I think that way is even much more easier to load pre-existing records of organizations, of contacts, of leads, bringing them into the Dynamics 365 finance and operation. I think that would be a best route for things around bulk upload. And if we could have just one example, if time permits, it's up to you, Leke.
Yeah, of course. So you're totally right. If we are trying to go through the route of, creating all those entities from scratch, it's actually going to take a whole lot of time because there are a whole lot of setup and data that has to be created from scratch. So, but I think I actually created a particular customer from scratch, and it's just maybe the parameters that are associated to that particular customer, that was not created from scratch. So maybe in subsequent trainings, I'm sure we're still going to have more trainings later on. We can definitely factor that into that particular question from Peter. Thank you very much for that, Peter. So let me just continue from where I stopped. I'll share my screen. Okay, so you can let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, I think it's visible now. Right. So yeah. So like I was explaining, so I don't know where we lost me at the point, but I'll just try to um, do a recap of where I think I stopped. So I was explaining initially the differences between the header, right, and the lines. So I'm saying in creating a sales order, not just sales orders, for example, purchase requisitions, purchase orders, I think journals too as well. We can come in contact with on the form which says line and header. So the header is like a general summary of the operation you're performing at that moment. For example, in this situation is actually the sales order, while the lines gives us more in depth into what we want to actually achieve. So in the line section of this sales order, I added the item name and the item number, which auto-populated the necessary fields. We can see the quantity, we can see the delivery type, we can see the units as well. And I was trying to explain the what we really need to understand, what units actually means. I was giving an example of, for example, um, the place, which is a restaurant. So units are just a way of categorizing or classifying your items, right? When you go to buy lunch at maybe the place or any eatery, and you pay for your item, there's a receipt that is issued to you right after you make your purchase, and detailed on that receipt is where you see unit. So I was saying that if, for example, you purchased a portion of maybe rice, for example, under the unit you see quantity. If you purchase what's it called now, chicken alongside um, your order, you're going to see the units for that as pieces. And if you purchase maybe a portion of plantain, you're going to see it as a portion. So that's just what I was trying to explain about unit. So I added another item to this sales order, which is the HDMI 6 cables, just by adding another line, and I can just save this for now. So we can see that the sales order is actually open. If there was a workflow that was created or implemented on this particular environment, before you save the workflow, before you save the sales order, it has to go through maybe an approval workflow. Then if approved, we can see the status of the sales order as approved, right? So basically, that is going to be it for this sales order. So after you're done creating your sales order, the next thing you should do is what we call the pick and pack. Let's not forget we are issuing the sales order to the just created customer, which is Ola Tunde Shegun, right? So the pick and pack actually makes the warehouse aware that a particular item is going to leave the warehouse and it should be ready for reporting purpose. So it means that whenever it is on the pick and pack session, pick and pack process, it means okay, this item is ready to leave the warehouse, and this has to be detailed down so we can go um, to generate the picking list. So this just gives us a more confirmation that this is leaving the warehouse. We can just select okay. So we get this prompt which says you're about to post the document without printing, which is fine. So we have some time to wait. So the operation is complete. So we can post this parking slip to validate it. I forgot to add that. Let me just show another approach, which most people might say is the best practice to create sales orders. So you can navigate to the sales and marketing module, right? We see sales orders here. You can as well just create a new sales order here as well and fill in this necessary details. So you can see it's still asking us, okay, for which customer. This is just the customer we just created now. So let me just create this customer. Just add this customer again, and you can see that based on the criteria we filled in for this customer, it has already auto-populated the necessary field. For example, I remember when we were creating this customer, we had to put this site and warehouse as default for this particular customer, right? And we can see that was auto-populated. We didn't need to add any details to that particular um, sales order. We can also see under the administration part of this sales order where we have the sales taker and the sales responsible for this. So the sales taker is basically the staff that brings in the business, excuse me, for the company, and the sales responsible for this, the sales responsible field basically is actually the sales rep that details or drafts the sales order into the system. So do we still have more time? Do we still have more time?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we still have
Okay,
about 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes to go.
okay. That's fine. So, uh, yeah, similarly, so just add, uh, you know, here. I'm just add another item, right? Still, I'm going to go through one thing. Peter mentioned that just show us how to create items, check for inventories, and basically, so I think this is an issue with this particular item. It's different from the product name. So let me remove this line, add the line, add an item number. So let's just pick this guy, select. We can save this guy. If value is missing, enter the mm, item model group field. So let's see what the item model group field is. Or was this from a previous? This from the previous error we had. Let's see. Okay, this has been so. I'll just show Peter briefly how items are created, how we can actually check for inventory, the number of items we have in our inventory, and to do that, we can navigate to the inventory management side, and we have where we have the inquiry and reports. So when you click on the on hand list, right, this actually shows you the numbers of items you have in your inventory. So, for example, let's take for example uh, one of the items we want to check the availability and quantity of it in the system could be maybe this mid-range speaker, right? We could just check that, and other fields are not necessary. These are just filters to streamline our search. When we apply on this, let's see if it's going to give us the results we need. Okay, so um, we can see in our inventory for this particular item, we can see, let me just expand these columns. The physical inventory is 11. We have physically reserved. So what this physically reserved item means is five of these particular items have been reserved for a particular customer. We have physically available. So since five have been reserved for the customer, what is left should be six ideally. So the total of this is going to give us uh, 11 as the physical inventory. So we also have the physical on exact, which is saying we still have six, and we also have this column which says order in total, which is 203. So the F&O is a very robust system that is really good, necessary for business to have to streamline their business process and automate for better efficiency. So I think I will just stop here for now because I mean it's a whole lot of features and processes we have to show. But I think the team is going to create a better time frame that would accommodate the process end to end. For now, I think I'll just stop here and see if there are questions. Okay, over to you,
Thank you.
Funshaw.
Yeah, a very big thank you to Leke. A very, very big thank you to Leke. Just to share my own experience around finance and operations. So majorly what I do around it is with integrations, integrating it with Dynamics 365 sales and marketing. Okay.
Hmm.
And today, I mean sales and the other modules in CRM through the help of prospect to cash. And so currently what I do around it is
I think I lost you for a bit, Funshaw. I think we lost Funshaw. Uh, Hopefully, he's back soon. Yeah, I think we lost Funshaw. I think our time is almost up, and I understand the concerns of our attendees, right? They would like to have a more detailed demo, which the team will be looking into having that out very soon. I'm sure we're going to have some time to go through an end-to-end process, and we really appreciate everyone for joining this session. And if you have any questions or feedback, you can always hit us on LinkedIn, Nigerian Dynamics 365 user group, and we'll have someone to attend to your questions and concerns. And thank you very much for attending this session. Bye.